Welcome to our finance channel. Are you ready to have your mind blown? Vatican City. It's the smallest country in the world. It's also the home of the Catholic Church. And it's got a bank account that's bigger than some countries' GDPs. I'm talking billions, billions. The Vatican's wealth is legendary. It owns priceless art, historical artifacts, and real estate all over the globe. But how does a nation of just a few hundred people manage such a massive financial empire? Well, it all starts with something called the Vatican Bank. Now, the Vatican Bank is not your average neighborhood bank. It's shrouded in secrecy, shrouded in history, and shrouded in enough intrigue to make Dan Brown jealous. So buckle up, kids, because we're about to dive deep into the world of Vatican finance. We're going behind the scenes to expose the secrets of the Vatican Bank. We'll explore its history, its scandals, and its recent attempts at reform. And we'll see how the Vatican is using its financial might to promote its own agenda, from fighting poverty to influencing global politics. Get ready to have your mind blown, because the truth about the Vatican's finances is way more interesting than any conspiracy theory. Before we carry on, remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. Let's talk about the Vatican Bank. It's not officially called that, of course. The real name is the Institute for the Works of Religion, or IOR for you fancy folks. But trust me, it's a bank. It's where the Catholic Church keeps its money. And let me tell you, they've got a lot of it. The Vatican Bank holds billions of dollars in assets. We're talking real estate, investments, you name it. They're like the Goldman Sachs of the Holy See. But here's the thing. The Vatican Bank isn't like other banks. It's not publicly traded. It doesn't answer to shareholders. And it's been notoriously secretive about its dealings. For years, the Vatican Bank operated in the shadows. Rumors swirled about shady investments, money laundering, and even connections to the mafia. We're not just talking about whispers in the catacombs, people. There were actual investigations, scandals, and even a murder mystery or two. So yeah, the Vatican Bank has a bit of a reputation. But the Pope insists they're cleaning up their act. They've promised more transparency, more accountability, and more ethical investments. But are they actually walking the walk? We're about to find out. The Vatican Bank has a past that's shadier than a gondola ride at midnight. For decades, it operated under a veil of secrecy. No outside auditors, no financial disclosures, no problem. Well, except for the whole transparency and accountability thing. This lack of oversight made the Vatican Bank a magnet for shady dealings. One of the biggest scandals involved a guy named Roberto Calvi, nicknamed God's Banker. Calvi was found hanging from a bridge in London back in 1982. His death, ruled a suicide at first, was later determined to be murder. And guess what? It all tied back to the Vatican Bank and a whole lot of missing money. Then there was the Banco Ambrosiano scandal in the 80s, where the Vatican Bank was implicated in the collapse of Italy's largest private bank. We're talking massive losses, fraud, and even links to the mafia. Yikes! These scandals and others like them tarnished the Vatican's reputation and led to calls for reform. After decades of secrecy and scandal, the Vatican Bank knew it was time for a makeover. They needed to ditch the image of shadowy figures in dark robes laundering money. So they started talking about transparency. They even let some journalists and auditors peek behind the curtain. Now, I'm not saying they threw open the vault and started handing out gold bars, but they did make some changes. They published their financial statements for the first time, closed thousands of suspicious accounts, and implemented stricter anti-money laundering measures. They even hired a bunch of fancy-pants lawyers and consultants to help them clean up their act. The Vatican wants the world to know they're serious about fighting financial crime. They've even signed agreements with other countries to share information and cooperate in investigations. But are these changes enough? Critics say the Vatican still has a long way to go. They argue that the reforms are mostly cosmetic and that the Vatican Bank is still too secretive. Only time will tell if the Vatican Bank can truly shake off its shady past and become a model of financial transparency. Section 5, ASIF, the financial watchdog. Keeping an eye on the Holy See. Remember all those scandals that rocked the Vatican Bank? Well, those weren't exactly great PR for the Pope, so in 2010, the Vatican created a new agency to keep an eye on their finances and prevent another PR nightmare. Enter ASIF, the Financial Intelligence Authority. Think of them as the financial watchdog of the Holy See. Their job is to make sure the Vatican Bank and all Vatican finances are squeaky clean. They monitor transactions, investigate suspicious activity, and work with international authorities to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. They're like the financial detectives of the Vatican, except they probably don't wear fedoras and trench coats. Or maybe they do. Who am I to judge? The creation of ASIF was a big deal. It showed that the Vatican was serious about cleaning up its act and complying with international financial standards. Section 6. International Cooperation. The Vatican joins the global fight against financial crime. The Vatican might be its own little country, but when it comes to financial crime, they know they can't go it alone. That's why they've been stepping up their game in the international arena. We're talking about sharing information, signing agreements, and working with other countries to fight the bad guys. The Vatican has been working closely with organizations like Moneyval, the Council of Europe's anti-money laundering body. They've been getting good grades on their homework, showing that they're making progress in combating financial crime. They've also been reaching out to other countries, signing agreements to share information and cooperate in investigations. It's like the Vatican has finally joined the global financial crime fighting club. And they're not just there to make up the numbers. They're actively participating and showing the world that they're serious about cleaning up their act. Section 7. New sheriff in town ASIF gets a new leader. Remember ASIF, the Vatican's financial watchdog? Well, they got a new top dog in town. In 2024, Federico Antonini Russo took over as the director and vice president of ASIF. Russo's appointment is a big deal. He's a seasoned financial expert with a no-nonsense reputation. He's like the Elliot Ness of Vatican finance. He's here to clean up the town and make sure everyone's playing by the rules. Russo's appointment is a sign that the Vatican is serious about keeping its financial house in order. They've brought in a heavy hitter to make sure things are running smoothly. Russo has already made some changes, tightening regulations and increasing oversight. He's not afraid to crack down on anyone who's not following the rules, even if they're wearing a funny hat. With Russo at the helm, ASIF is expected to become even more effective in combating financial crime. He's the man with the plan, and the Vatican is counting on him to keep their finances clean. Section 8. Putting faith into finance. The Vatican's ethical investing strategy. The Vatican isn't just about fighting financial crime. They're also trying to use their wealth for good. That's where their ethical investing strategy comes in. The Vatican has realized that they can use their financial clout to promote their values and make a positive impact on the world. They're like the socially conscious investors of the religious world. They've been divesting from companies involved in fossil fuels, weapons, and other industries that clash with Catholic teachings. Instead, they're putting their money into things like renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and microfinance projects. They're even developing their own ethical investment guidelines based on Catholic social teaching. It's like a moral compass for their investment portfolio. The Vatican's ethical investing strategy is still a work in progress, but it's a sign that they're trying to use their wealth in a way that aligns with their values. They're putting their money where their mouth is, and that's something we can all get behind. Section 9. The power of the purse. How the Vatican's investments could change the world. The Vatican's financial resources are vast. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. And with great wealth comes great responsibility, as they say. The Vatican is starting to realize that they have a moral obligation to use their financial power for good. They're not just investing in ethical companies. They're using their influence to promote social justice, environmental sustainability, and other causes that align with Catholic teachings. Imagine the impact they could have if they went all in on ethical investing. They could help lift people out of poverty, combat climate change, and promote peace around the world. They could become a force for good in the global economy, using their financial might to make a real difference. Now, that's something worth praying for. Please like, subscribe, and share this video.